Today we're going to do some word problems that involve inequalities. And don't panic. Make sure you always read the directions carefully. Think about what you want your variable to be. Then you write your inequality and solve your inequality. After you've solved it, you want to check to make sure your answer is reasonable. And then answer in a complete answer, not just with a number. So let's look at this first example. 8 less than the product of -3 and a number is greater than -26. So let's think about this. When it says 8 less than, it means it's going to be something minus 8. And what it's saying that we're subtracting 8 from is the product, which is a multiplication problem, of -3 and a number. So when we have a number, we're going to have a variable. And it says that all of this is greater than -26. So if we look at our inequality here, we have -3 minus 8 is greater than -26. So then we go through and we solve the equation just like we would, or we solve the inequality just like we would an equation. And we get x is less than 6. Now notice we get x is less than 6 because we divided by a negative here. So when we divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, we have to switch our sign. So then we come over to graph it. And when we go to graph it, we are going to use an open circle because it's only everything less than 6. And then we're going to have our arrow going to the left, which are all the numbers that are less than 6. Let's look at the next example. The sum of two consecutive numbers is at least -15. So when we have consecutive integers, it means we're going to have a variable and a variable plus 1. So we have x and x plus 1. And it says the sum of those, so that means we're going to add them, is at least -15. So when I add those together, it's going to be greater than or equal to -15. So then we go through and we solve our inequality and we get that x is greater than -8 and x plus 1 is greater than -7. Example 3. Connor went to the carnival with $22.50. He bought a hot dog and a drink for $3.75. He wanted to spend the rest of his money on ride tickets, which cost $1.25 each. What is the maximum number of ride tickets he can buy? So at the very most, he has $22.50. So it's going, all of our stuff, our food and our rides is going to have to equal less than or equal to $22.50. So our question is, how many rides can he go on, or how many ride tickets can he purchase? So we're going to set our inequality up as 3.75 plus 1.25 r or x, whatever variable you want to use, and we go ahead and solve that. So then this answer, notice this answer is written as Connor can buy a maximum of 15 ride tickets. Example 4. Stan earned $7.55 per hour plus an additional $100 in tips waiting tables on Saturday evening. He earned $160 in all. To the nearest hour, what is the least number of hours Stan could have worked to earn this much money? We're going to let H be the number of hours Stan worked, and we have our tips plus how much he worked per hour times the number of hours. So we set all that up and we solve it. And when we get that answer, it's 7.9 hours. But in our instructions, it says to the nearest hour. So we want to go ahead and round that to 8 hours. Example 5. Brenda has $500 in her bank account. Every week she withdraws $400 for expenses. Without making any deposits, how many weeks can she withdraw this money if she wants to maintain a balance of at least $200? So $200 is my least amount, so my account balance minus my money withdrawn is going to be greater than or equal to $200. So we're going to put in our beginning balance, which was $500, and then she takes out $40, so that's going to be minus 40 or negative 40, times we don't know how many weeks. That's what we're trying to figure out, so we can use our variable for that. And then when we go through and we solve, notice we have to divide by a negative, so we have to switch our sign. And this tells us that Brenda can withdraw $40 for 7 full weeks and still have some money left over, at least $200. So since it says how many weeks, we're going to go ahead and decide how many full weeks she can do that for.